With 2K26 dropping soon, I had to go back and relive the chaos. And the chaos is the park and city trailers. We have been sold dreams by 2K for over a decade now. I mean, they made it look like we're getting a collab with NBA 2K and GTA, and instead, we're just running around the city for 15 minutes just to figure out how to change our t-shirt.
That's not the neighborhood. You guys can think whatever you want.
Sunset Beach, Rivet City, the High Flyers. 2K literally gave us gang affiliations. Let's start with 2K15 where it all started.
This October 7th, the decision is yours. These empty park courts are waiting to be filled with millions of my players battling for court supremacy. This year, there will be something to play for. Once you step off the hardwood, it is time to enter the world of My Park, where joining a community gives you something to play for every single game, where earning rep will separate the boys from the men, and the men from the park legends. Welcome to the new era, known as My Park.
This screen screams 2K, man. Bring it back to the small things.
First up is the Old Town Flyers. Up-tempo and flashy play is second only to winning. The Flyers brand of ball means you control the action, with a boost to playmaking and defense. Next are the Rivet City Rough Riders. Physical play dictates the action in Rivet City. Join the aggressive and relentless Rough Riders to command a boost in athlete and rebounding. And finally, there's the Sunset Beach Ballers. Calm and relaxed off the court, ruthless and precise on it. The Ballers enjoy a slight boost to outside and inside shooting.
Everyone and their mother chose Sunset Beach, to the point where at one point you couldn't even join them. You had to join one of the other two parks because this hit the maximum amount of people.
With our new squads feature, you can play as a team for your current session. And where better to take your squads than the brand new Jordan Rec Center at any time. Differentiating itself from street ball style, this is your home for sim-style hoops featuring 5v5 competitive games with 4...
Why was this removed? I know it sucked waiting 2 hours to get on that squad spot or even get on the got next and then it gets stolen by a squad, but man, look at how beautiful this rec center looks, man.
NBA rules and officials. Squad up and prove your prowess by owning the Jordan Rec Center and staying on the court. You win, you stay. It's that simple. No guts, no glory.
That trailer was fire. It was simple, to the point, and perfect. Also, look at the Instagram logo here. Oh my gosh, that's old. Anyways, this game just had everything. I didn't think that this video was gonna piss me off, but I'm literally kind of pissed off because this game was so perfect. Anyways, let's go to 2K16 before I lose my mind. 2K16 was interesting because they didn't actually have a trailer. They just had screenshots that they released before the game actually dropped. However, when you started the game, that's when you got a trailer of what you were joining.
Molten iron, steel backboards, and chain nets complement the aggressive play, relentless D, and screen-rattling dunks exhibited by these hardcore players. They're looking to brush off last year's third-place finish and dominate every rival day of the My Park Championship. The Ballers have moved to the grounds of the Sunset Beach Resort, featuring a 1.5 million gallon aquarium with whale sharks, manta rays, turtles, and a water slide that passes through the center of it all.
They had the formula. All they had to do was keep parks like this and just keep changing them, keep giving them new parks. And they blew it.
The Old Town Flyers have a new address just a few miles upstream. The venue is located next to Old Town Park, sporting one of the world's largest Ferris wheels at 450 feet tall. They'll be a force to reckon with as they look to win back-to-back championships.
We already knew 2K16 was fire, and the parks were so much fun, so not much really to talk about there. Great game. Let's move on to 2K17. 2K17 was the year of copy and paste, but they got away with it because the game was still good. It was still fun, so nobody cared. However, 2K, typical signature move, they added fog and then said it was innovation, brand new parks, but really, it was just the same parks, copy and pasted. Like, bro, look, it's literally 2K16 with a Snapchat filter on. This game did, however, have one brand new thing. I'll give it that. However, the one brand new thing was absolutely dog shit. It was Park After Dark. You join a game, you lag for 30 minutes, and end up wanting to throw the controller through your screen. That being said, let's take a look at this trailer and see how much they hyped it up.
Rivet City, always packed, but Why is no one here?
They're lagging their ass off.
Do NBA 3X tournament not happening tonight? No one putting it on the line in Ante? Where is everyone? But what is this place? Why is everyone here?
And now, for our very first Park After
Right,
Dark.
as you see here, they're hyping this thing up. They had Snoop Dogg at one point as a DJ. Dude, this was so bad. Everybody was so hyped to go to the Park After Dark, and then you get into the Park After Dark. If you were lucky to get into a game, it was a straight lag fest. This sucked. The next one, 2K18, this is where 2K started to change it up. They changed the name from My Park to The Neighborhood. That's not even the worst part. They started to change the game, and it was for the worst. Microtransactions were through the roof, and the gameplay, it was dog shit. Let's take a look at the trailer. I do remember this one. It made everybody hype. However, it sucked.
We've already changed the game. We made the story real and the journey epic.
I bring you the president of hoops.
Oh, the president of hoops. Good to meet you.
We let you start your own legend and test yourself against the world.
Fresh squeezed orange, orange
NBA 2K has already transformed sports gaming, but now we're doing it on a whole new level. Because this year, you don't just play the game, you live it. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Well, here it is, the thing that got everybody hype till they actually got on the game and tried to play. They had no fast travel. You had to get a certain level to get the freaking bike. You were running the whole time. This game did also have Road to 99, which by itself wasn't a terrible idea. The bad part is nothing was wrong with rep, and they removed it for literally no reason, and it just made everybody hate the game even more. Like I said, I mean, the game was just terrible. It was a huge flop. Nobody enjoyed playing it, and this was the real downfall of 2K because 2K17 was still very popular, and they just blew it with this one. Literally, the only thing I remember from this game is the community hating it, an agent blowing up because he's making these news videos based off this game. That is the only positives to come from this. Haircuts, you go to the barber shop. They should be free. They were at least 5K. They did end up patching it. I will give them that. But this game, absolutely terrible. This is probably the worst 2K in my mind of all time. Enough hating on 2K18. It's time to move on to 2K19. In 2K19, it was still called The Neighborhood, and they heard everybody's concerns, and they still really didn't fix them even though they said they did. A typical 2K lie. Let's watch the trailer and let's see how bad it was.
It starts with a name you fill with power, a name that one day will be known by all, right here in the neighborhood. A new neighborhood with new energy and new places to explore. Make a name for yourself at the Jordan Rec Center. Or work on your hang time at the Under Armour cages.
I mean, this stuff is cool, but at the same time, bro, let me pause the game and let me buy shit again. I don't care about running through the city on my freaking skateboard or bike, whatever it is. It's so stupid. Bring back the days where I could just press pause and I can access swags there and buy a shirt that way.
Because on these streets, something big is always about to go down.
This is the year that they got everyone hype after they lost everybody with 2K18. They got everybody back with dodgeball. And the dodgeball ended up being so bad, it was so stupid, but it was cool that you could win whatever amount of VC playing dodgeball and it wasn't basketball. I mean, whatever. 2K, again, just did not really sell this trailer great. This is the one W that I noticed from this trailer, the daily spin wheel. 2K giving you stuff for free will always take that. We'll see how long that lasts in the game, to be honest, until they add it back and say brand new feature. But for right now, W thing that they added to the game, and it's still in there today. Another thing that pissed me off in this trailer, they say crew, like it's the 2K11 crew that everyone loved, but it was really just a 3-man team where you're playing Park. The Pro-Am 3v3, that's what they named crew to get people to buy this game again. They are slimy, schemy.
That's not the neighborhood.
So yeah, basically to put it in a nutshell, 2K, they are some cons, they are some crooks, and they will continue to lie to sell their game. But yeah, that's 2K19's trailer. I mean, It looked really fun. It looked great. However, the actual game itself, it looked nothing like that. It was completely different. Like, the dodgeball sucked. It didn't work half the time. You mostly lagged out. It was only at certain times. And then you still needed to go across the city to get a shirt. I mean, this game was still a mess. And 2K just sold it like it's the best thing ever. What a surprise. Let's move on to 2K20, dude. With 2K20, you had more lying going on to probably the worst extent that we've seen so far.
Like, jump to conclusions on what they saw in terms of the neighborhood in this trailer. That's not the neighborhood, but you guys can think whatever you want.
This is an absolute low spot for 2K. It made them look terrible more than they already do, but this really just showed that they don't care about the fans, and I don't know how you don't fire Ronnie 2K, honestly, after this stunt, but that's none of my business. Bro, this should be illegal. They literally have shown nothing on what the actual park looked like. They're just showing events. How can you not show what the actual park looks like and get away with this? This is literally false advertisement. And then on top of that, I showed you the Ronnie 2K clip. How, as a video game company, can you sell your consumers this product and then make the microtransactions so bad and just copy and paste, man? This is the worst one by far to me so far. This trailer did have one thing that I did almost miss. They did add rep back, so I will give them that. However, it sucked. You can't copy and paste and then do one thing right. Absolutely diabolical that they somehow got away with that. They showed about 5% of the actual park that was in the game. Then the rest was just events. Events that popped up maybe once a week, if you were lucky. That was the biggest scam artist trailer I've ever seen, and 2K should be ashamed of themselves to this day. That was terrible. And then the rep. You add the rep back, however, the rewards suck. To play about 1,000 games and maybe you'd get like a skateboard. This game was just, the gameplay wasn't actually terrible, but the game itself sucked. 2K21, they killed the neighborhood and brought us the city that we know and don't love today. This is the start of it all, and I wish it never happened. We thought it was going to be futuristic, awesome, cool looking, and something new for 2K that they desperately needed. But in reality, typical 2K. We ended up just getting cardio, and we're running around the city more than we're actually playing basketball. Let's see the trailer, and let's see how bad they fooled us again. This year, they really thought they did something with adding these affiliations back. What they failed to realize is it doesn't feel anywhere near the same. Back then, you explained the boosts. Before, you had certain boosts like ballers get 3-point shooting, the flyers, they get defense and whatever else, and that was explained in a little short, simple trailer. Now it's just not the same, man. Even if those boosts existed, the reason it doesn't feel the same is because back then, we load into our park, we stay there until we end up leaving to go to the rec center or a different park, which was right there with the doors labeled, and then we left our affiliation, our park, to go to another one, and then we would get double rep for winning at a Sunset Park or a Flyer Park. Now we load into the city. We're just in the middle of the city, dude. Our park is all the way in the corner. It doesn't even feel like we belong to it. That's my main point. It does not matter which park you go to because they're all the same shit. It's not special anymore. The best positive I've seen from this trailer is the Gatorade course, because that's the best way to simulate playing online as far as latency with your jump shot. Other than that, this just looks like a whole bunch of BS. Yeah, the rest of this is just dudes dancing around the city. We already know the deal with 2K. Make it look cool, then the game actually drops and you already want to return it within 24 hours. Next up, we got 2K22. They again added affiliations back, which the last game tried to do, and it didn't really work, but this game actually added the affiliation part where you can join one. But again, same thing. It doesn't feel like you belong to one. And then as far as the park events and everything like that, everyone just went where the best players went, and the other ones were just ghost towns. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because it just didn't have the same feel as it used to. Don't get me wrong. Like most things in 2K trailers, it sounded fire, but again, like most things 2K, it flopped. Another thing about this game, they hyped up these affiliations, and then it's like you'd go to like a Wildcat park, and it's literally just you and the breeze. There's no one there. These parks were empty in this game. But enough of me ranting, let's watch this trailer.
You're a remarkable talent. Someone with the chance to do something very special in the league.
I'm ready.
This game was so annoying. You had to run around the city doing so many quests, and they had you trying to be a freaking rapper and a fashion model. I remember sometimes you'd be running around so much it would take forever to just play your next My Career game. It's like they're missing the point with some of these games. So yeah, typical letdown, typical 2K fashion. Show the city, show all these cool things that end up being trash and end up making the game even worse. Next we got 2K23, which again, had the city, and they said it's smoother, it's more dynamic, it's faster, no problem, everything's fixed. I was still skateboarding around the city just to get my quest done, and you couldn't even play the next My Career game until the quests were complete. This was the most frustrating My Career game I have ever played, and to me, it's not a city, it's literally just a maze with lag. Figuring out where you're going for your next quest just so you can play your next My Career game. But enough of me, let's see their trailer.
Snapback, eye squinted, hand on the chin. Yeah, I take selfies when I'm at the gym.
Snapback, eye squinted, hand on the chin. Yeah, I take selfies when I'm at the gym.
This year, their idea of a fix was putting those subway stations everywhere. I promise you, most of the time, they glitched out, and you still had to run around the city, and it was still trash. And you know, typical 2K, they had to throw that extra bullshit that you can't even do in the game. They had to show those people doing yoga, something that's not even relevant to the game, but it makes it look cooler. And then in reality, you get in the city, they're all NPCs. That's the end of the 2K23 trailer. I mean, to be honest, the parks looked better, but again, it doesn't matter when you're going all the way across the city because it just doesn't have the same feel as a park did. You don't feel like you belong to that spot. So again, this game, the quests suck, getting around the city sucked. I didn't really play this game because it sucked. But like always, you know, typical 2K trailer. Let's show some things that you can't actually do. Let's show some NPCs doing freaking yoga on the lawn, and let's add a song behind it. I'm just really hoping this isn't what we get for a 2K26 trailer. But let's move on to 2K24 and let's see if it got even worse. Current gen players got the cruise ship, which was somewhat decent and actually kind of enjoyable, while next gen players, the people who upgraded their console and spent money to do so, were still suffering with the city that was the same thing, just a little bit less painful. Let's watch the trailer. One thing I did like about this is they added those park bosses, which were kind of fun, man, I'm not gonna lie, and it was kind of a glitch when it came to grinding badges, which nobody wants to do in the first place. So that is one positive to take away from this. However, this is one of the most boring 2Ks I've ever played. With all that aside, this year, it just wasn't fun, dude. So yeah, 2K24, I think we're seeing a growing theme here. Ever since they added the city, the game has tremendously downgraded. Nobody wants the city, and it's showing. It makes the game 10 times more boring because you're constantly running. It's a cardio simulator, and all we want to do is play basketball. So until they see the point where we don't want the city, which we already know is returning for 26, which makes me think it's going to be an ass game as well, I don't think they're going to learn their lesson because this game sucked as well. That leads us to our last trailer, 2K25, the most recent game. This game was okay. Definitely, like most 2K games, had a lot to be desired, and they missed out on a lot, mostly because of their greed and microtransactions. But nevertheless, this game wasn't the worst one, but also nowhere near the best. Let's watch the trailer and let's see what that looked like again. Why even put it in the trailer, bro? Just put parks back where we don't have to run at all. You're doing too much and you know it at this point. I want to add this quick about Rec too, because Rec is fun. However, when it's me and one other friend, it really sucks having to go into the squad's door and then we face a 5-man every single time and they're running a zone defense and we can't do anything and we get blown out until we close the app. That is annoying. They need to find a fix for that because it's unplayable when it's like that. All right, I've seen enough. I mean, it's literally just montage clips with music behind it, so what's the point in continuing to watch this trailer? And we already know what the game looks like because it's the most recent one we've played. This game, I mean, let's be real, they sold the old parks in order to sell this game. When this game first came out, they said Old Town Flyers. They are going to have their park in the game. It's going to be the old one from 2K15. Everybody started buying the game because they wanted to see that. And then they kept having those events throughout the year to try and retain some players back that stopped playing because the game sucks. That ultimately didn't work because you can't add one event per month and have players keep playing. What a surprise, 2K. You freaking idiots. Let me know in the comments if you're buying 2K26 and leave a like in hopes that 2K26 is actually a good game for the first time in like a decade. Subscribe for more, and I love you guys. Stay saucy.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar,